All right, what's going on, boys? We're live. It's Keg and Coop back for another NASCAR Cup Series breakdown video. Last week it was Pocono. This week we're at the Indy road course at the Brickyard, Indy Motor Speedway. What's going on, Coop?
Not much, man. I don't know. It's kind of a weird race, I think, today. And I think I'm going to take it a little light at the beginning, unless you can talk me into some stuff. I have a couple bets I don't mind, but I don't think I'm in love with any of them. So,
Yeah,
I think that, I don't want to push it too hard because I think we got pretty lucky last week.
I kind of agree with you. Okay. Everybody expected, we're at a road course. First of all, what's the comp, do you think? Is there a comp? Sonoma, Coda, Road America. What do you think the comp is to this road course?
I don't know. I don't think there really is one. I don't think I would put Road America in there at all because it's twice as long as Road America is twice as long, and
right,
it has a lot of tire wear too.
So you think it's kind of like its own entity, basically?
Yeah, I think it's kind of its own entity, but I think also, we've had 3 races and we know what cars are going to be fast and not.
So going into the week, I think you and I both thought that, considering the fact that Toyota wasn't in like the top 15 in green flag speed, we didn't really think on road courses this year, we didn't really think that they were going to be a factor, right? And that pretty much seemed to be the case, with the exception of Chris Bell, who looked really good in practice. I mean, put down a fast lap in qualifying. He was pretty fast on the 5 and 10 lap, even though not many cars actually went around the track for 10 laps straight. But I mean, he was faster than I thought any Toyota would be this week. You agree?
Yeah, but I mean, again, like in these other road course practice and qualifyings, they weren't brutally fast, nor were they, brutally slow. I think they qualified and practiced better than they raced. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much confidence in them. I mean, like Denny Hamlin was basically, he drove around the whole frickin' Brickyard yesterday in practice, man. He was just horrible. I mean, he couldn't keep the car on the track to save his life, man. He was so uncomfortable.
So at the beginning of the week, I told you that obviously Chase Elliott's he's been the best car on the track the last 8 weeks. And we know how good he is at road courses, right? So I thought that he was worth a bet pre-race. And then I wrote like Reddick, Chastain, Cindric, Briscoe, or the other cars that I'd be looking at, right? So he wasn't good, really. Hendrick in general wasn't good. And Chase Elliott, I mean, he qualified in the top 8, but if you watch practice and qualifying, he really wasn't that good. And his odds went from like 4.5 to 1 to, I see 6.5 to 1 in some places, 7 to 1 maybe if you could find it. But I still expect him to be a factor today when it's all said and done. I know he's starting at 8th and he's coming from the 4th row. I still, he'll be knocking on the door at some point in that race, and we'll be like, here comes Elliott, because he's just too good on these types of courses. And his car always improves during the race. So what do you think about Hendrick in general? What do you think about Chase?
I think that Chase Elliott was good in practice and qualifying. I don't think he was good by his standards of what he set.
Right. That's what. Right.
I totally agree that if you look at this run that he's on, in the majority of the races, he has been able to make the car better throughout the race.
Right.
I agree. I don't think he's going to be a dud, and I think barring some unfortunate issues for him, I think he'll be a factor at the end. So we'll have to wait and see. As far as Hendrick in general, I think they're going to run better than what they practiced and qualified.
I agree. I would agree with that, especially Elliott. And I think that Larson's going to probably be in the top 5 for most of the day, don't you?
I don't know about most of the day with him starting in 22nd, but I think he'll be in the top 10, and gets a couple breaks here and there. He could end up in the top 5. I think Bowman's going to be good because he got the track experience yesterday of what to expect. So we go from there. And then, Byron's been solid on road courses. He's just had some bad breaks. But I think they were going to run better than what they practiced and qualified, definitely.
I agree.
Whereas I could see Toyota going the opposite way.
Right. And the other manufacturer I expect to be strong, obviously, is Ford. I think you do too. Penske looked good in qualifying, looked okay in practice. They look pretty good in practice. I thought Cindric, we knew Cindric was going to be good, but we'll get to it in a second, but we knew Cindric would be good. Blaney's always a factor. I think he's going to contend today. I think that he could win the race. He would be my probably second pick to win the race, I think, today. But obviously Chase Briscoe last year he fucked us and cost us a win at this track. So we knew that he was going to be good on this road course, right? So the front row, Tyler Reddick looked phenomenal in practice. He looked like he had the nuts, the best car on the track. Now, my question for you is, do you think that Reddick and Tyler Reddick is excelling towards the end of the year? He's getting better like the last few weeks. Obviously comes in off. He didn't win last. Who won last week?
Who won the race last week?
Yeah.
Unofficially or officially? Unofficially, Denny.
Oh, right, Elliott. Right. But Reddick had the win before the week before that, right?
He won on whenever the last road course was.
Right.
A couple weeks ago.
So what who do you think in that top 8? Who do you think is racing for points, and who do you think is racing for the win today? Because I think that's important.
That's a tough question, man. I thought about it earlier this week, and you look at where Reddick is, you look at where Briscoe, and you look at Cindric, and you can throw Suarez and Bowman in there too. If we get 17 winners, obviously the one driver that has one win with the lowest amount of points is going to not make the playoffs. We'd have to have 3 winners in the next 5 races for that to happen. So could it? Yes. What's the probability? I don't know. I'm not, into figuring that out, but you have Daytona, which is wild. Richmond, is based upon what we saw earlier this year. It's a track position strategy race because of how, the tires wear. Michigan, we don't know much about. And then you have another road course in Watkins Glen. So, it could happen. But anyways, so the piece there is Busch isn't racing. He's the one who's in 17th, or would be in 17th if we looked at it that way. So he's going to lose some points today. And the drivers that I mentioned before were anywhere from 2 points to like 25 points ahead of him. So, if they race for stage points, they can really, solidify a big, comfort zone, with him. But then, the drivers we're talking about are starting in the top 3. So, you want to win. So you never know. And then, throw on top of that, I was talking about all that early in the week, and you throw on top of that, I just, found out, I guess, basically yesterday, like these stages are set up really weird. 15 laps for the first one, which is 5 laps less than the Xfinity, 20 laps for the second one. All right. And then 42 laps, I think, or 47, I have to do my math, but it's over 40 in the third stage.
And what's the fuel window? Like 36?
So that's the thing. That's the thing. All right. So I got the fuel window from Prerace yesterday, and he's saying, these Xfinity cars can run, 35 to 38 laps.
Right.
And then, you turn on the broadcast and their fuel window is 27 to 30 laps. All right.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I had the volume off.
His fuel window today is 36 to 39 laps. So, I think that's a confusing factor too. Nobody really knows how much they can run on these new cars. We saw a few weeks ago where they were saying 90 was, the top that you could go. And here at the end of the race, we got Joey Logano running 102 laps or whatever.
Yeah.
So who knows? But anyways, back to that, if it's 30 to 35, 38, whatever it is, I think with that first stage being 15 laps, we might see some, well, I don't think we will see some cars not pit, and they will stay out and maybe pit around lap 30, 35, whatever the fuel lap window is. I don't know.
Right.
So I think that throws a whole nother wrinkle into
what's your gut?
15 laps.
What's your gut say today?
My gut says
you want them pitting. You want them pitting before the stage or after the stage?
My only thing that I know is that once you get into that fuel stage in the third stage, which everybody's going to have to pit in the third stage, I want them to pit right when they get into it.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I know. I mean, I don't know if pitting short is the right answer, especially in the first stage. We'll pit only 15 laps, and you can run 30-ish or maybe even 35. I don't know. So, that's a whole thing that's, really throwing me off and really making me want to stay away even more from this because, I don't know. And then, you could say, look, Reddick and Cindric, man, they just pull away. It's what we've seen in road courses. The first two just pull away from everybody. And it becomes a two-dog show. And then, so Briscoe's 5 seconds back. He says, oh, shit, I ain't going to be able to compete with these guys today. I'm just going to take the points and secure myself. Who's going to – I don't know. So, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. And then, the other thing that's
it's going to come down to that last pit like it always does.
Right. And then, the other thing is, we've had 3 relatively smooth road courses.
Yeah.
We're getting down to the end now of, these drivers wanting more playoff points. They're wanting to secure their position in the playoffs. They're wanting to make the playoffs. So the intensity is going to ramp up. And, that first turn is the whole key to this whole race today, because you saw yesterday, you go down into there, you get a car up in the front that spins. People slamming on their brakes. You can lose a lot of time. You can, end up flattening your front end or back end, depending upon if you get hit in the front or the back. The other piece, and then when you're spread out, we've seen a lot of drivers just drive into that corner too fast and then miss it. Or if they're driving in there too fast and they try to, make it, they flat spot their tires. So, that turn 1 is really going to dictate the whole course. And I put it in chat last night. Nobody's really talking about it. What AJ Allmendinger did yesterday on those restarts in turn 1 on the beginning of stage 2 and stage 3, he was phenomenal, man. The first time he came up, he took the inside, took the position and all that. Then the next time he was on the front row with Bowman and he outdid Bowman on the outside. And I mean, how he maneuvered that first corner was phenomenal. Nobody's really, given him any credit for that whatsoever.
So I've been thinking all week, man, do I just judge these cars and say I'm not going to think about points and I'm just going to judge them all for who I think has the best chance to win the race? Or do I, because I think you could spin yourself around in circles.
Oh, you definitely can. And that's the other thing is it's hard to pass here. Look, AJ had that issue on the first pit stop, got back to 14th. All right. Well, he drove up to 8th, then had a restart, drove up to 4th and got another caution and all that. He didn't do that on a long run, If you get caught back into that traffic, whether you're a Reddick, a Cindric, a Briscoe, somebody who's good, it's going to take you some time. And then also you need luck. All right, and luck is what I mean by the cautions dropping to be able to, he gained most of his spots like right on the first lap of those restarts. So, it's hard to pass here, and track position is so critical. And, there's a lot of drivers out there that want to win, and they're going to play the strategy. And then we've also seen here recently, these crew chiefs don't have the brightest bulb in their heads sometimes. Like, what the hell was Bubba Wallace's crew chief thinking, last week?
Yeah.
What was Chandler Smith's crew chief thinking on Friday night?
I don't know what that fucking guy was thinking, bro. Yeah, I totally agree.
And I mean, it's easy to sit here and say that. We're not in the spur of the moment and know what's going on and so on and so forth. But at the end, it definitely looks like a boneheaded move.
But I mean, when 80% of the people watching the race don't see Bubba not pit and then be like, oh, he's dead. Mm-hmm. He has no chance to win the race now. All right, so another big factor in this race. What do you like? Let's talk about Trackhouse for a minute, right? They've been super strong all year speed-wise, especially road courses, but didn't look great in practice or qualifying. Suarez and Chastain. Suarez starting 11th, Chastain starting 21st. What do you think about Trackhouse today?
I think they're going to race better than they qualified. I mean, they haven't been like great qualifiers, to be honest with you, at the road courses. I know the one that Chastain won, he started 16th. So I'm not worried about them. They'll be up there. They'll be contenders at some point. They might not be contenders to win the race, but they'll be contenders for a solid top 5 finishing position somewhere around in there.
I think that Penske is as live as they've been all year to win a race today.
I wouldn't disagree.
All right. So let's get into the outright. So I obviously am on Chase Elliott. So he's 6.5 to 1 now. Tyler Reddick. I said to you, Coop, in a message yesterday, Tyler Reddick looks like he looks like he's on a rocket ship, and you were like, yeah, but I worry about how shit his pit crew is. So where are you at right now? He's your odds-on favorite at 5.5 to 1. Reddick, Cindric, second choice at 6 to 1. Where are you on these two guys in your head right now?
I'm just gonna let it roll and let the race play out and bet live, man. I'm not going to chase, that 5.5, 6 number when, I could have got him at a better number pre-race if I wanted to.
Yep.
So it is what it is as far as that goes. And I mean, look at AJ Allmendinger yesterday. He said, I'm not good, but when we get back here in bad air, my car's not set up for that. The same thing can be said of anybody in the race, and those two in particular. And then the other piece too is these pit stops are so important. Yeah, there's only going to be 2 of them. If you're making more than 2, you're not going to be winning. So, they're coming in, they're, opposite of what they normally have been, and you saw yesterday with Allmendinger say, he got too close to the wall, which affected the jack man, being able to get it up in 1 pump, and he had to go 2 or 3 pumps. So, there's a lot to it, more than what we think. But I'm not chasing him, no.
I agree with you. Totally. I think that you do have to largely let this race play out. Now, Chase Elliott, who I would
rather make one bet and live or die by it versus trying 5 different drivers today.
I agree. I think it'll be a lot of watch until the last pit stop, till we know who's out in front near the end, right? You would think. But
you'll know who has the cars too.
Right. Let me say this. Like, I put Elliott on the sheet at 4.5 to 1, but I hadn't hit him yet. I am going to bet him at 6.5 to 1 is crazy for what he's done on road courses the last couple of years, and how good that car's been the last 8 weeks. I am going to have that ticket in my pocket. After that, Suarez 8-1, Briscoe 8-1, Chastain, Blaney, and Larson 10-1. I got to tell you, Coop, I'm not going to bet anybody else pre-race besides Elliott. But if I was, it would be Ryan Blaney at 10-1. I think he's got a good shot today.
Yeah, I'm not about it. I have one guy in mind. I might pre-race bet, but that's it.
Who? Are we there yet?
Get to him. Oh no, you're not there.
Oh, I know who it's going to be.
No.
Joey at 20-1.
No.
No.
Your hat might come off. Your hat might come off. So keep going.
Don't say Kevin Harvick. I won't let you on the show today if you say Kevin Harvick. You'll be banned from the live show if you say Kevin Harvick today. You got the guy breathing out of a straw, a foot underneath the dirt. He's right here. I can see it. I can see the straw, Coop. What are you talking about? This guy. All right. So yeah, but nobody up to Larson. We were Chris Bell 12-1. I'm pretty much in the same camp with you. I don't think that he probably runs as well today as he qualified and looked in practice, just based off what Toyota has done this year on road courses. So I kind of agree with you. After that, Kyle Busch at 15-1, no interest there. I listen, I think Penske, Joey Logano's 20-1. I think Joey's going to be hunting, and I think Penske's look pretty good. It would not shock me. I know Y2J, I think, bet him at like 40-1. I would not mind having a 40-1 ticket right now in my pocket on Joey Logano. I don't think that was a bad bet in retrospect at all. Michael McDowell 30-1. I think he could maybe top 10. I don't think he's a threat to win. Dinger 30-1. If Dinger had the car, I'd bet him at 30-1 on every road track in America. Denny Hamlin 30-1, no interest. I know you either. Busher 40-1. No interest. What do you think about Brad Keselowski this week in DFS and just in general?
If you want to throw 40-1 on Keselowski, I don't mind it whatsoever. The car, appeared to be fast in practice. We know that Busher was fast there. My only concern with Keselowski is, he's not a horrible road track racer, but by no means is he really good either. I'm a little hesitant on Keselowski, but I get why people would do it.
Yeah. All right. Kevin Harvick and Byron are at 50-1, and then Bowman and Gibbs 100-1. So here we go. I'm gonna let you be a hypocrite and try to sell me on Kevin Harvick. Let me hear it. Go ahead.
He's finished top 11 in all 3 road courses.
Okay.
I was actually really impressed with Harvick last week. If you remember, he went out and he was absolutely horrible in qualifying and practice. And throughout the race, man, he continually improved. And he actually ended up having a very fast car. He got caught up in the Hamlin and Chastain business and ruined his day. Kevin Harvick is never a driver throughout his career who does well in practice and qualifying. He does all of his damage, during the race. And I think what really impressed me was last week, and how they made the adjustments and how fast the car they were able to have at the end of the race meant a lot to me, because in prior races, he hasn't been that way. He's been relying on others to have issues to have a good finish. And I thought it was kind of funny where he actually had a fast car last week and got caught up in somebody else's business and ruined his day. Whereas the other ones, he's been slow and, he's ignored all or got rid of and passed all the other cars business and end up fast. His crew chief Childers says the car's good and fast at 50-1, and I know he's going to be racing for the win. I know there's no point racing for him. He has to win in order to get
You know what'll come along with that 50-1 winner? An apology. So I'm all for it. I can't wait for Kevin Harvick to win today. I can't wait. So
I'll think about it.
So all right, wait, pause. Let's transition over from the outright market into only other two bets I have on the spreadsheet right now is top manufacturer, right? Top Ford, Harvick 8-1, Blaney 5-1. I assume you still like them and bet them?
I like Harvick. I'll take shots at 20-1 on Harvick.
Yeah.
And I'll take some shots on Keselowski at 18-1.
Keselowski and Harvick. Okay. All right. I like Blaney.
I don't hate Ryan Blaney whatsoever.
I worry about Cindric and Briscoe obviously a little bit.
Right.
They deserve to be the favorites.
Like I'm not going to go out there and throw $350 on each one of them to be the top four. All right. So, I don't need to with that number. But I think, to be quite honest with you, I think Kevin Harvick has just as good of a chance as any one of them other drivers ahead of him.
I agree, bro. I put it on the sheet at 8-1. I did not expect it to be 20-1, but I got Blaney at a better number. So at least I got that. All right. So let's start Chevy, right? It's wide open, man. It could be Reddick. It could be Elliott. It could be Chastain. It could be Larson. It could be Suarez. I mean, it's impossible, I think, to nail down anybody. You agree?
Yeah, I don't have any interest in Chevy whatsoever. As Ford is just as deep as what Chevy is as far as potential winners.
Yeah, but
Ford might even be.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
So I don't have any interest there.
Right. All right. So we just talked about Ford. Top Toyota. I tailed you on your Bubba Wallace system play for top Toyota because I think it's viable this week. I mean, listen, with the exception of Chris Bell, let's say Chris Bell runs as well as he looked. Then, okay, he wins. He's plus 150. With the exception of him, tell me why Bubba Wallace can't beat them all. I mean, yeah, Toyota have not been good on this course, on road courses in general. All right, that's manufacturers. All right, the weekly specials.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Keep going. We'll go back.
All right, so the weekly specials, any Hendrick Motorsports car to win plus 275. That's a pass, I think, for me. Do you like that?
No, but you're kind of getting into what I was going to mention. And I think the numbers are better on MGM than what they are DK. To win manufacturers are kind of priced like what you would see at a super speedway, like Daytona or Talladega.
Oh, race winning? Yeah, I have written
race
down
winning
here.
teams. Excuse me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Race winning teams, not manufacturers.
Yeah. I saw MGM. The prices are pretty good. Gibbs was like plus 5 and change.
Stuart Haas is plus 8.
Yeah.
I mean, you get Briscoe and Harvick.
But, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Penske's live at plus 350. I think obviously RCR is live.
That's the thing. They're all good numbers, and they're all good numbers because they're not quite sure who's going to do it because obviously Hendrick has some people, Penske has some people, Haas has a couple people, Richard Childress has Reddick, and then any other team could win with Trackhouse.
Exactly.
So
all right, so
the numbers are good. I'm just going to stay away.
Yeah. Any Hendrick Motorsports car to win the race plus 275, pass. Gibbs, pass. Manufacturer. Now, I think that this is this could definitely happen today. Any manufacturer to finish 1, 2, 3 could happen, but the price just isn't. It's horrible. Penske to win the race plus 225. We talked about that. No, Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe to finish in the top 5 at 3-1. I think this has a chance to hit. I just don't know if 3-1, if there's value in that number. Like if that was 5-1, I would bet it.
And then of the drivers that are starting up front, Briscoe's the one that I trust the least because it happened last year and he's still happening this year. He has a lot of issues getting into that turn 1. We saw it last year, obviously, where he cut through the grass because of it. And then this year in practice, he had the same issue. So, I have the least confidence of him of the ones up front. So that's what's pulling me away from that bet. And like you said,
Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski to finish in the top 10 at 30-1. I think that number makes this bet intriguing because it's a road course and they can both find themselves in the top 10 at the end of this race. 30-1 isn't that bad of a number. All right, Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs both to finish in the top 10 at 50-1. Now that number's also solid, but man, this kid has such little time in this next gen car that I probably wouldn't bet that. So jump in here, Coop, at any time if there's anything that I'm saying that you want to talk about.
I mean, the only one that really considered is Ford to finish first and second.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I agree with you. If you take a look at the qualifying board in practice, a lot of Fords were strong, man. A lot of them. All of Penske, Stewart Haas, Briscoe looked good. I 5-1. I think that's the probably the only thing on this whole page that's worth betting. Would you agree?
Yes. That's the only one I have interest in.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do any Bubba because I got too much money tied up in Bubba already, that limited amount. I don't want to put more in there, Yeah. I got him at top Toyota, then I got him at top Toyota with top Ford Blaney and top Toyota and top Chevy Elliott. So
I'm with you. I like that Ford finishes 1-2 bet. Only one I wrote down to talk to you about on this whole page. So lockstep. I think that's probably worth the bet at 5-1. And if a Chevy beats you, they beat you. To go back, top 5s. Was there anything you saw top 5 wise that you wanted to talk about? I saw a couple numbers that I didn't think were awful, like Ryan Blaney at plus 130 to crack the top 5. I don't think is awful. Other than that, though, I think you're just taking shots.
Like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to put Keselowski's numbers went down to 500. Kevin Harvick's at 600.
I don't mind that. Kevin Harvick top 5. I don't mind that at 6-1. I could get on board with that. Like if you bet that, I'll tail that. I can get on board with that. Yeah, okay. And other than that, the only one that I thought of was Ryan Blaney top 5 at plus 130 because I think he should be consistently good today. Top 10s, did you see anybody in plus money? Oh, Kevin Harvick's plus 150 to break the top 10. So I assume that you're going to like that. Yeah. I don't see anything besides that.
The only other one I would consider is Keselowski, but it's 120. Like I would want 150 from him.
What do you think about Alex Bowman today?
I mean, he can weasel his way into the top 10 if everything happens, right? I don't know, but Like I think Keselowski and Harvick can get there with their speed and everything. I think Bowman needs a lot more help.
I guess I can buy that. All right. Matchups. Do you see any matchups you like this week?
Nope.
What about Joey Logano plus 110 against Kyle Busch?
I don't see it.
It's on DK, the second one.
No, not for me.
What do you think about that?
I don't mind it. I'm like Joey does well on the road courses, but it's usually because he plays the strategy right. And I don't know if he's going to hit the right strategy today or not. I mean, he's definitely probably going to be running for the win.
What do you think
he's
about
right there in points?
What do you think
I wouldn't
about
mind that at all.
Blaney plus 160 against Reddick?
I don't mind that at all either. I mean, I would rather take my shots at Logano.
I think I agree. That's why I brought it up first. But that number is doesn't that seem a little crazy?
Yeah.
Plus 160?
Yeah. I mean, it's no different than Truex being plus 245 against Briscoe.
Yeah, I guess. Kyle Larson plus 105 against Ross.
Nope. Too close.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was the only one I saw. Looking at the groups.
First off, have you ever seen groups where the numbers are minus numbers?
No,
that's freaking ridiculous.
I saw that last night on Group C and D. I was like, what? No, I've never seen that. So Reddick's plus 180 and Elliott's plus 220. I mean, I guess you could potentially scrape, but there's not enough value there really to it's not worth it. Chastain and Larson could beat you. You never know. Cindric is too low. If I was going to take my shot in this group, it would probably be Briscoe at plus 250 or Suarez at plus 250. I would plant my flag on one of those two guys, I think, and just try to beat Cindric, Busch, and the other one. But I don't like it enough to bet it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's another thing, Coop. Since stage one is so short, does that bring stage one winner into play? Like, I almost feel like we have to take Tyler Reddick now because there's a much higher percentage.
I don't plan on playing that today because it could go so many different ways. And I think the numbers are going to be so tight at the bottom. I don't know. If I do, I'll wait till the numbers come out and see.
Yeah, let me see. I might have them somewhere just to see what they are.
Do you like anybody in Group C? I mean, like Brian Blaney, he's solid. You like him, but I mean,
Reddick is plus 275.
Yeah, see, that's stupid.
That's low.
Yep.
That's low, man.
Like anybody in Group C?
Do I like anybody in Group C?
I mean, do you want to take any shots on these? The numbers are crazy.
Brian Blaney, Dinger, Hamlin. I mean, that's a rough one, man. Dinger, Hamlin, Truex. I wouldn't know who to go with there to try to beat him. Maybe Dinger.
The only thing that worries me about Dinger is his pit crew and the car, which is a lot, but I mean.
So basically everything except his driving ability, basically.
Yeah.
That's good, Coop. Did you bet Kevin Harvick in Group D?
If I were to bet one, it would be Kevin Harvick, and no, I haven't. Because I really do think it comes down to Bell and Harvick.
You can't. I mean, there comes to a certain point where you can't have 8 Kevin Harvick bets, bro.
Exactly. I know.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, yeah, this is a tough week, man. I'm gonna have that Chase Elliott ticket in my pocket. It will be the only.
Did you tell the bet I put in last night?
I didn't see you put a bet in last. What? Where?
On MGM, they have winning car under 10.5 number minus 105.
You're in the fucking weeds, huh? Winning car under 10.5. That gives you Cindric, Harvick, Larson, Keselowski, Reddick, Elliott, Chastain, and Almirola. That's pretty good.
Oh, don't forget Corey LaJoy.
Yeah, okay. Right. That's pretty good. But, man, there are a lot of ways to lose. But that's pretty good.
There's a lot of ways to lose, but it gives you 6 drivers, 7 if you count Keselowski, who could potentially win.
6 legitimate cars that could win for you. That's not bad. That's not bad. Do they have a higher number?
Yeah. Hold on. Pull up. If you take away Elliott, it's plus 155.
And the other way must be crazy, right?
What? Over?
Yeah.
Yeah, over 8.5 is minus 190.
No, I'm talking about like 15.5. Unders minus
15.5 is minus 200.
Yeah. I was trying to sneak Blaney in there, Briscoe. I was trying to sneak a couple guys through the back door. You know what I mean?
I mean, like minus 105s, I thought was pretty cheap for having 6 to 7 potential winners.
Yeah, that's not bad. I don't mind that bet. It's a fun bet. Definitely a fun bet to root for while you're watching the race. I don't mind that bet. But this is a tough week. In terms of the outright market, I'm gonna bet I'm going in with the game, even though I'm going there for different reasons. I'm gonna go in with the same thing at the start of the week. I'm gonna bet Elliott, and I will bet live. That's what I'm gonna do. So and then obviously Coop and I like the top Fords. I'm on Blaney and Harvick, and you're on Harvick and Keselowski. Yeah. So aside from that, boys, that's really the only action that we got. It's going to be a light week. It's a tough week. Maybe, I mean, if you want to shoot your shot with one of those guys in the front row at plus 275 to win stage 1, and you think he's going to stay out because it's only 15 laps, and their green flag gas tank is somewhere that they hope is 39 laps. So you can potentially see Reddick drive away, potentially, and just cash a plus 275 ticket. That's up to you for you to decide. It's a low number, though. I'll say that. It's a low number.
I mean, I don't know. I just think we could see so many different drivers do so many different things.
Yeah. Almirola plus 250 over Haley, Custer, and Dillon. Gavin asked.
Hell no. I would never bet Almirola on a road course.
Busch to beat Cindric, Briscoe, and Suarez. No, thank you.
Which Busch?
There's only one in the race, isn't there?
Yeah, but didn't Gavin bet Kurt Busch last week or something?
No, that's somebody else. Nikolai. All right, boys. Coming up next, you got JJ, Joey, and Holden that are going to do the baseball show, and then Coop and I will be back at 1:00 on the Run Pure Sports channel for DFS and Bets NASCAR with JJ. Hope you guys crush this weekend responsibly, and we'll see you later on. We're out. Later.